Hi, how are you, Seymur?
Hi, Ava. Thank you very much. I'm doing very, very well. And we're just melting the coldness here in Houston, Texas. Right? We're just going through that. Hopefully tomorrow things should be better. And yes, I am positive about that. The sun is
Yeah,
shining, so it's good. It's a
the
good day.
sun is shining and we have a freeze in Houston. How do you feel about the weather in Houston now?
I actually moved to Houston because of the warm weather. And I'm like, what is happening? Yesterday I was driving and the car started sliding. And today even car started sliding a little bit. And I was like, no, no, that's not why I moved to Houston. I mean, it's a beautiful place, it's a beautiful city. It has amazing people in it. Ava, you are wonderful. Your audiences are wonderful. But this cold, I mean, we gotta be grateful that we didn't get snow in just like other places. So I mean, no one
Yes.
got time for shoveling, I would say.
Yeah, I know. What did you do, Seymur? You brought the ice with you. I'm just kidding. You're the one of the warmest person on earth, and I am so excited to
Thank
introduce
you.
you to to all of you who are listening today. So everyone, this is Seymur Rasulov, and
Yeah.
he is a founder, entrepreneur, or founder, and he is someone who is so smart but so compassionate. Every time I come to Simor for an advice, like he just gave me a straight shooter, really honest, and it's just helped me in so many ways. So I'm so excited to have you on IwA Innovate with Authenticity today, Simor. And do I pronounce your name correctly?
This is all correct. And again, you're too generous, too kind with your words. Now I have another responsibility to fill in those shoes. I gotta start work.
The pressure.
This could be my 2024 year resolution. So this
Yes.
all could be New Year resolution.
What is your New Year resolution then?
Not a New Year resolution. I do have a 2024, 2028 resolution. It's a
Mm,
4-year strategy for my company. I want to grow my company by 2028 to 200 million ARR so that I can
mm.
sell it starting from 550 million to 1 billion. So that is a 4-year goal. And that's one of the strategy that I do when I want to accomplish something. I immediately look at the ultimate goal, ultimate destination. What is that? What is that final point of finish line, right? It's like a marathon, it's like a race. What is that finish line? And the finish line is exit acquisition, let's just say for 1 billion. And when you start walking back, just like Michael Jackson did with the what do you call it? Moonwalk, right? You moonwalk from your goal. If you want to sell your company for 550 million or for 1 billion, how many paying customers do you need to have? What should you have as an average check? How many sales reps you need to have to reach that average check size, right? So you start walking back, and 2024 is the first year we're starting that journey until 2028. So I wouldn't say there's a new year resolution. I would say there's a new 4-year plan, 4-year resolution to reach 200 million ARR by the end of 2028 so that we can have a successful exit at the end of 2028.
Oh, what a fantastic goal, Simor. And thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you this. We'll come back to the goal a little bit later, but tell
Yes.
me a time when, when you realized this is the goal for 2024. What brought you to this goal?
So we started the company in 2019, 18, 19 officially registered, and we started selling. 2021, 2022 were good years. 2023 was a very stressful year. For the first 2 months, we didn't have money to pay the salaries. So I went to my team. Back then, I had a team of 32 people, and I had to downsize team to 12, which was the horrible thing to do. And I had to go through that to grow. I had to go through that so that I can grow personally and professionally. But I started talking to the employees that we had to let go, and we downsized the team to 12. So when I spoke with them, they said, we'll be happy to work with no salary up until 4, 5, 6 months. But of course, my heart wouldn't let that happen because they have mortgages, they have kids, they have families, they have schools. So for 2 months, we couldn't pay salaries. This year, and then after 2 months, after March, the numbers started going up. We started becoming profitable, and December was 2023. December was one of the most productive, most profitable, and the strongest months we ever had. Like the sales skyrocketed, thankfully. And we closed the year on a very positive note. Everybody got really good bonus, and every single employee. We paid the salaries for the next 6 months. I mean, 2024, we actually got rid of so many expenses that, and then we got some money left in the bank account, that it gave me the confidence again to look back and say, you know what? That's like a fresh air. That's like a fresh, what do you call it, blood that coming into your body, and you'll say, hey, now I'm energized. Now we can again, get back on track what we really wanted to accomplish, and that is creating impact and then becoming part of something greater than yourself. Many people, many entrepreneurs, or many listeners, or those who are watching us would say exit or acquisition sounds greedy. I partially agree and partially disagree. The reason I disagree is that when you exit your company, when you sell your company, you become part of something bigger than yourself. We are a speedboat, right? We are not a wooden boat, we're a speedboat, but we are not a cruise ship. So we can grow to a certain point, and then when with the acquisition and exit, we can hold on to a cruise ship and see how far we can go. If with a speedboat I can go to one country, with cruise ship I can go from ocean to ocean, right? That is the part of my mission in terms of growing company to an acquisition point. So that's when we came to that idea that, you know what, we got this, we still got this. It's like 60-year-old someone, looking sharp and getting back into dating game and saying, I still got this. So that was a moment for us. We looked at it and we said, you know what, we still got this. This is the second phase of our company. Let's go.
Let's go. So share with us a little more about the journey of bringing your company from 32 people and then um, had a really stressful year. What brought you back? What made this year so successful already and so productive? Even just this is like a beginning of 2024. So congratulations, and share with
Yeah,
us a little
thank
bit
you.
of
Thank
the
you.
experience, what brought it to success.
Ava, one thing and one thing only, the focus. Focus is so important, right? Whatever you're doing, even if you're a mom with two kids in your one hands, if you're a father doing something for the family, if you are a founder working on a project, if you are a teacher teaching class, if you're a school principal, focusing on the focus is such an important thing, laser focus. For the last 4 years, I was so distracted with personal matters, with a failed relationship, with distraction, with shiny objects all around, with every single idea attracting you, with jumping from emotional roller coaster to another emotional roller coaster. I would say these things destroyed my focus. Last year, after these things happened, around June, I promised to myself, not like looked at the mirror and promised. It happened mentally that, you know what, I'm gonna give my 100%, 120% to what I'm doing right now. And the circumstances around me brought to that point that it happened. And I noticed it's like, car going this direction, that direction, this direction. And then finally you get behind the wheel and you hold onto that sturdy and you hold it solid. And now you can see the road and you can see car doesn't go this way or that way. Now it's just sticking to your side of the road, right? Focus is an extremely important and a very powerful weapon that we can use for good things, right?
Yeah.
And I think once you once you start channeling your focus in the right direction, solving a problem for customers in a scalable manner, you create value. When you create value, they start paying for that. And when they pay, you start paying to your employees, to your staff. You create a culture. And then it just goes as a ripple effect.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you talk about focus, whenever I coach leaders, I often talk about focus as well. And, you know, I talk to them in terms of priorities, and a lot of time leaders have a lot of priorities and want to bring them all in. And I would tell them, we have so many priorities and you have no priorities. You probably heard about that too.
Yeah.
So when you mention focus, it definitely resonate. It's simple, but it's not easy to do. So share with us what helped you from all of these distractions and, even the personal interactions or relationship fail, you call it a failed relationship. So these are often even hard to get back on the road, but you did, you're focusing back on your steering wheel and you start to see momentum and help your
Yeah.
employees. So what what helped?
Three things help. Number one, when you have I had a 4 year relationship which I broke up, and then there was so much pain, right? There's so much pain when you lose someone you love, you care, you plan to build the future, and then there's nothing left. You find yourself in the middle of the emptiness and vast emptiness, and then work is the only thing will take you away from the daily distractions. And work helps because you communicate, you create, you connect, you solve, you speak, you share. That's number one. Number two is that I noticed that I may actually lose what I have built so far together with my co-founder. I noticed that the more I am distracted from the business, the larger the gap between me and my co-founder, right? That person dedicated his life to build this company with me. I am letting him down. And that's the second thing. You're like, okay, you may lose the project, you may lose the company, but losing the co-founder is a big, big deal, right? The projects may go down, that's fine. But I think people should stick together as when you're starting a company. That's why choosing the right co-founder is so important in this business, right? And the third thing I would say, you start seeing tiny progress, tiny progress. I was recently talking to my son, and he knows how to bike now. He knows how to ride a bike. And I asked him, I actually taught him how to do that. And I'm actually proud of myself for that. I give a lot of good credits for myself that I taught my son how to ride a bike. So I asked him, I said, what was the experience like? He said, there was struggle in the beginning. I was like, okay, number one, there's struggle in the beginning. Number two, he said, once you start seeing progress, that motivates you to try again, right? That's the second thing. And the third thing, when you are like, riding through those bike lanes, he says, 8-year-old kid says, in my mind, I look back and I say, I'm glad I did it. I was thinking about this yesterday. There's not a single thing that was bad or hard in our life, we look back and we say, oh, that was bad. We all most of the time we say, I'm glad it happened. We learned something out of it. So there will be a struggle in the beginning. Tiny progresses, right? Tiny bits and pieces of progress, of success are motivation to go to the next one. And the third one is that when you look back, always say that I'm glad I went through that. I'm glad I did that. So the fear of losing my co-founder, what do you call it? The looking for a solution to get distracted of the pain. So definitely help. But at the same time, I was so concerned that, we've built this much. This team looks up to me and they have a hope that, it's going to happen. I can't let that down. I can't let myself down. I can't let my customers down. So it
Yeah.
definitely helped.
You have so many like good nuggets there, Seymour. So you're talking about tiny progress. A lot of time, a lot of tiny progress can get together and create a big progress, right?
Yeah.
You see momentum, and you also talk about having that compassion to yourself and to your co-founder, where you realize that this is also a relationship. It's not like the live relationship, it's not the partnership, romance, but it is definitely an important one. And so let me just drill down a little bit further here. So when you mention using this as a way to distract yourself, work, which is really, really sometimes sometimes distraction can be good, right? Like you distract yourself from the pain so that you can focus on what is more
Yes.
productive. So that's like, it's like one like two wins in one go or something. But How did you get out of it? Because when it comes to emotion, I've noticed even in digital transformation, emotion get into the way and then people get swelled down to it and it's hard to get out. Even
Yeah.
having like, what is that point where you realize that if your head realizes that, okay, I want some distraction, I want it to focus on my work, but pulling yourself from that relationship to the point where you can focus again, what helped?
One size doesn't fit all. When it comes to things like that, it could be a trauma in your life, losing someone valuable, losing your parents, losing your spouse, losing your girlfriend, losing your love of your life, losing them, I mean, in a breakup or like, them passing away, right? And there's no one size fits all. I think everybody needs to go through their grief in their own way.
Mm.
That being said, I would say I took therapy. I took therapy, and
Mm.
I never believed in therapy, by the way. I never believed in it. I was very skeptic. I took therapy because I found it easier to share and connect and find an ultimate way out of this pain. And my therapist helped me understand that I'm in charge of certain decisions, right? At least I can control few things, and I should be controlling them. Therapy helped a little bit, and then at some point, there's a nice saying. It says, "It hurts, it hurts, it hurts until it doesn't hurt anymore."
Mm.
So my good friend says the 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 scars will remain, but the pain will decrease. That there will be scars. That's fine. That's a part of us, right? We are human beings. We will have scars from childhood. We'll have scars from our youth. We'll have scars from our past marriages, past relationships. But the pain will decrease. The scars will be there. If you ask me, what is that scar? I'll say, oh, this is when I got this. Does it hurt? Not anymore. But the scar is there, right? So the therapy definitely helps, and sharing with the right people helps. Getting out and talking to other peer founders helps. Some people think that they are the only one going through this hardship. No, many of us go through that. Many of us haven't figured our shit yet. Many of us are going through the hardships. Not everything is shiny and glittering and beautiful and nice as it looks on LinkedIn or Instagram. I actually
Right.
opened an Instagram account. I never had an Instagram account. I opened an Instagram account. I looked at it and I closed it
Hmm.
because it is so false representation of many things on many levels. I'm not saying anybody, I'm not recommending to anyone to close it, open it. That's everyone's their own business. But I saw that internet is a shiny place. You can easily see someone else um, celebrating the New Year's Eve where you are lonely and you're at home eating, I don't know, a bowl of spaghetti, and you're like, hey, my life sucks. But you're not alone. There are so many people, and it doesn't mean it sucks. So therapy definitely helps. Talking to others help. Understanding that you're not alone helps. But at the same time, podcasts like this helps definitely. People come on board and share their very deep insights, very, what do you call it, concerns, very sincere opinions, life experiences, and people, those who listen, those who watch, they see that, you know what, it's not just them.
Yes. So kudos to you, Seymour, for even sharing with us therapy. Like there's a lot of maybe or not a lot anymore, but there's still quite a bit of stigma with therapy. But I think, just when Bill Gates said like every coach needs a coach, right? Like therapy is not it's not coaching, but in a way it's kind of give you the space so that you can think through accessing what you already have within you. And kudos for you to do that because you also mentioned about your son and you kind of draw a lot of lesson with him. So
Yeah,
it sounds like you definitely value those lessons and transferring it to your son. But
absolutely.
yeah, and if you have to look back, share with me some of the early fails besides relationship in your work in your line of business and yeah, said how did you and what would you do it differently?
Great question. Therapy definitely helps. I think I was skeptic about therapy as well. When I joined the therapy first, I asked the therapist, I said, I don't believe you. And he said, why? And I said, how come, how can you help me? Because you have your own problems too. I mean, you're a human being. And he said, you think we don't go to therapy? We go to therapy as well. And
Mm,
then I started believing or putting my faith into it. In terms of the failures, except the business-related failures, I clearly remember it was 2018. We were building it was just two of us in the team. We were building the very first version of our product. By the way, we automate customer support using AI and machine learning.
mm,
And we are a B2B software company. So we were building the very first version of our platform, and my co-founder was basically coding what I was telling him to code. I was telling him, put this button here, put this functionality here, make this part this colorful, make this part CRM, make this, make that. So it was basically a painter painting what I was telling him to paint. And we had this canvas of software building, right? Software design. So after 6 months, we built a product, the first version, the MVP, call it MVP, but it's like a full-scale product already. 6 months we've been working on it, just two of us. And then we go to first customer. And the customer says, I'm going to give a metaphor to easily explain. The customer says, wow, this looks great. This is like a plane. This is like an Airbus. And I feel proud of myself while there's a sales meeting going on. And the customer continues. He says, this looks and feels like an Airbus, but I need a bicycle. That's where I die inside because I'm like, what do you mean you need a bicycle? He says, we need something simple. I'm like, oh, shoot. And then I start defending our product. I say, oh, it has this button, it has this, then it has that. And the customer says, yeah, but it's too complicated. We need an on and off button. That's it. And I say, oh, you can use it for free, we will give it to you for free. Use it and give us some feedback. The customer says, from the metaphor of an Airbus, it says, I don't have a place to park it. Switching costs, training costs, my staff, we're going from the existing solution to new solution, going to a startup. Will you guys be around? I mean, that was the moment I realized we failed the product development. What would be an ideal version to do is to start talking to the potential prospects or potential customers at early stages of your product development. But talk them in a way that you do not reflect all what they say, because they don't know what they want until you show it to them, right? What they will say, they will be talking about their existing problems. As a founder, you need to be a translating machine. You need to take that problem and translate it into a feature or a benefit, right? You can't just try to solve it for all of them. No. What you need to do, you need to take it, collect, and see what kind of benefit in my product would solve 75% of those problems, right? And then you start thinking about that and you put the first version and then you go ask them and then see how it helps them and then continue building. It is basically, I call it a feedback loop. So you're constantly getting feedback. However, you should never get discouraged. And as a founder, as an aspiring founder or new founder, you should never get discouraged. And you should never directly implement what they say. Other than if you do, it will become their product, not your vision. It will
yeah.
become their product, not your vision. Remember, it's your vision, not their product, right?
Yes.
And tomorrow they will change their job. They will go to a different company. So you will be stuck with their product instead of your own vision.
You mentioned a lot of great things there, and it resonated with me a lot, even in digital transformation. First of all, communicate and partner with clients or customers as early as possible. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason is just to build that partnership, because a lot of time with consultant we come in and we expect to be an expert, and we can be an expert for our last project, but nowadays everything becomes so complicated and complex. I wouldn't want to assume that what helped me then could help me now. So I'd
Yeah.
always like to partner and learn that from customer and client. But to your point, a lot of time people are confused, not because they meant to be confused, but the complexity of it, like it might be go beyond one person. And a lot of time I also bring in observation, like they might say certain things, but let's just not using one data point of what they say, but an observation, listening. And sometimes I even caught them saying the opposite thing in one
Yeah.
conversation. And then you would start questions and look into how authentic the data is. And it's nothing to do with them, like client, they just, and it's okay to be confused. Like, it's just like us, right? We have sometimes a lot of emotions and mix. We're going through pain and we're still going towards that innovation.
Yeah.
We're still focused. And just for them too, like there's so many aspects that people have to consider. And that's why coaching is so important in those scenarios to understand what the clients and customers want. Um, so there's a lot of great things that you mentioned there. And the next question, you just talk about AI. So I have to ask, so in this rapid changing of AI, and your business is about AI too. So, um, what what do you think, upcoming advancement or shift in the AI that excite you the most, especially those that embody that authentic and responsive and responsible innovation?
Yeah. I love the mission and the vision of your podcast, and then your operations and your roadmap, that the ethical, I know we discussed the ethical AI, innovation with the heart, not only just at heart, but also with heart, with passion. But at the same time, you mentioned in the beginning that in many, many, many cases, it's about the people. When it comes to AI, we are an AI-based company. We automate customer support using the AI and machine learning. And we just released our new product called Whelp AI, so people can actually check it out. It's called Whelp.ai. We basically provide document management within a specific knowledge base. So any company could connect their knowledge base and build an AI-based chatbot within seconds. What excites me about the AI is the ability to get things done with a fewer inputs, right? And if I had to do 10 things before to put an article out there, find a picture, come up with ideas, and start writing, proofreading, editing, look for publishing solution, publishing, integrating. Now I can actually do it with a 2 or 3 clicks, right? What is not changing, how is changing. The what is the ultimate result, right? The what is, there will be articles out there, ChatGPT, there will be articles out there will be tasks done, there will be progress, there will be to-do lists. This how is changing, right? We're not doing it now ourselves. We're asking ChatGPT to write an article for us for a recipe. We are asking Inflection AI to basically be our ethical AI partner. We're looking at Poe from Quora to give us certain answers. We're looking at Dectopus to help us build AI-based presentations. So this and that, what we are doing is becoming a prompt enterer or commander. Literally, we give the command, and the technology does it for us with fewer touch points, fewer clicks, or fewer what do you call it? Milestones, right? And within a very short period of time, we have the same quality of the work, even much better at sometimes. So that's what excites me about AI, that many things can be done from a single point of view with fewer interactions from us. However, another thing excites me, that now I am feeling a bit superior, so that I can edit it, I can edit what the AI has done, and then I can publish it, I can share it, I can add my own flavor on top of that. So if you remember, back in the day, mothers used to cook at home.
Mhm.
Then the grocery stores, and then the, what do you call it, the global supply chain or the fast-paced lifestyle brought us certain things that now many things are sold frozen, right?
Mhm.
However, pancakes, let's just say waffles, right? Breakfast waffles. You can't just take it and eat it. You still need to heat it. You still need to microwave it. You still need to toast it. And then you still need to put the syrup on and present it. So that's the AI, the frozen part. And then we come in, we decorate it, we heat it, blah, 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 blah. And then so that excites me a lot.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Seymour, because make me things of even COVID, I mean, after COVID, the customer journey have changed a lot. You mentioned fewer clicks and, even now, like a lot of time I talk with my advisor and she talk about like zero click a lot. And
Yeah.
that's part of the customer journey. And a lot of time the journey now is digital. So how do
Yeah.
we use AI to really get that empathy, that compassion to clients to help them, to enable them to get to the result faster. So it's wonderful that you mentioned about AI, and it's really cut through a lot of process. It's really helped us to grow and to be so productive, but at the same time, like you bring in that twist, you bringing in that brain power and your insights to make it better. So it doesn't control us, but it's still the originalities come from us. So we're
Yeah.
becoming partners. Um, so Seymour, just such a wonderful chat with you today. And clearly you're not just creating product out of technology, but you're and buzzword, but you're really doing it and you're living it and you're bringing that authenticity and that compassion to make innovation happen. So what is your last advice before we go? Any things to add to all of us watching today?
First of all, you're very, very kind. I really appreciate having me on board. Thank you so much. Ava, I know we talked about this in the past, and I'm glad this is happening finally. It's an honor for me to be here with you, sharing, exchanging ideas at the same time with your audience. I think you're building something exciting. I think you should keep doing that because that's your voice in this crowded world. That is your voice in this when there's so much background noise. So definitely, and have your voice heard and keep having your voice. That's number one. So thank you for having me. What I would definitely advise is that no matter what you do, no matter what you do, I think we need to stay grounded.
Hmm.
I always love the phrase saying, you may have your heads in the clouds, which means you're a dreamer, you're a visionary, you're flying and you love it. You're like, but you need to have your foot on the ground. So stepping solid on the ground and having your heads in the clouds will give you both sides of the sword, right? You are as sharp as on the ground, solid, but at the same time, you are visionary with the heads in the clouds. The second thing is that I love people. I agree with you what you said. It's about people. However, your cake needs to have multiple layers. One of that layer is a system-based processes. You can't just rely only on people. People are nice, people are great, people are kind, people are generous, people are hardworking, but people leave, people go, people change, people transfer, people travel, people pass away, unfortunately, people get sick, people get moody. I understand. So I think anything that you're building needs to have multiple layers. And one of those layers are great people, customer facing, but one of those layers should be system-based processes so that you
Mhm.
know what to do when this doesn't work, so you can follow that. And solely relying on technology will make you a soulless company. Only relying on people will basically take you to chaos and then, I don't know, abrupt chaos at some point, and then hopefully you can go through that, but it can lead to even further, right?
Mhm.
And I would say building something with a system-based processes on, and as well as equipped with the right people, amazing people, I think that's a winning combination. And then the last thing I would say, so staying humble is very important, right? Building system-based processes is important. And the third one is never forget where we're coming from. And I've seen some people, they become so arrogant just because they have raised $200 million or $2 million. the way they walk changed, the way they talk changed. And there's no need for that. And doesn't matter where we reach, we're still who we are. We're coming from humble beginnings, right? We all need to remember that. And I think that there's a tremendous value in it, tremendous value in staying to your roots, sticking to your roots and learning from that and respecting the ones that are. I always ask the age. I always ask the age because someone's age tells me so many stories that they have been through so many things in life. And instantly, if someone is older than me, that's an instant respect. Why? Because that person has seen so many things more than me. And then I look at their experience and expertise and knowledge, and I'm always, what can I learn from this person and what can I bring to the table? I think with that mindset, many of us can go a long way. If we start applying that mindset to each of us, each and every one of us, right? To each other, and I think we can go a long way.
Yeah, so many wonderful things you mentioned there, Seymour. But one thing I'm gonna challenge you. I'm like you too. The thing is that I resonate with a lot of things you say, even the age too, because coming from Vietnam, I look up to my grandma. She had 7 kids and she didn't speak a word of French or English, only Vietnamese, and somehow she was the entrepreneur and you really grow
Yeah.
the family. So the whole family look up to her. But here's the thing. I think age is one thing, but with the digital age, for example, I look back and I feel that a lot of time it's, I have a lot to learn from even, Gen Z. I mean, the generation even before that, and no after that. And sometimes experience and even trauma really I look for the depth as well. Like age is one thing, and a lot of time it tells the story, but some of us, like, we're growing and we never reflect and we never have a chance
Mm,
to. Life is
that's
busy
true.
happening, and that may um one day we realize that, oh, we missed the chance to grow, but that, so I would say age is one thing, but you doing, as I can tell, you're doing a lot of reflection, and that's something very important. But it tied in what you mentioned about being grounded and being humble and always learning. You said it from the very beginning, and it really show now. I guess one last thing I would like to leave all of us with is when you said system, right? Like people
Yeah.
is very important, it's super important, but at the same time, system is really help to build that
Mm.
habits when I'm doing digital transformation work, helping with product innovation in the company. People may be great, but if we don't have the system, we fail.
Yeah.
Just like when we start learning how to brush our teeth, it become a second nature because we have that system. But when
Yeah.
we were born, like we had to learn that too. It's new to us. So having that system in place so that we can be more successful in building our company is super important. So thank you so much, Seymour, for all your wisdoms today. Any last word? And also, how do people reach out to you?
It was an amazing pleasure. Thank you for having me, Eva. I always enjoy our conversations. I'm glad we had this because we always have short conversations. We quickly run, right? Where we meet on foot and we chat at the hallway or on the stairs. So it's really good to speak with you on a larger scale. We have a full conversation. And people can LinkedIn is the best way to find me, Seymur Rasulov, and I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you guys who's reaching out. And definitely there are so much to learn from each other. And yes, you like you said, the life, unexamined life is not worth living, right? So we gotta go back and look at this. But at the same time, I'll give you this metaphor, last one. Yeah, you can't drive a highway, especially in Houston, by simply looking at the rear view mirror, right? You can't just look at that rear mirror and go on the highway. Yes, you need to look to the front, like look to the future. You need to look at your side mirrors. That's just to balance things. Once in a while, you need to look back and lessons learned.
Mhm.
But we need to look forward. We need to move forward, right? I recently wrote an article called "Move On and Move Forward." You can't just move on; you need to move forward as well. So I think
Mhm.
these things are important, and I think your podcast plays a significant role in helping us getting that message hearing that message, reinforcing that message. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Seymur. You're amazing human, and I am so
Thank
excited
you.
to continue our conversations after this as well. For all of you who are listening, thank you so much. Thanks to you for listening to IwA Innovate with Authenticity, and see you next time. Reach out to Seymur on LinkedIn. Bye for now.